Felix Mago, co-founder of Dash Next and Dash Thailand. Dash is one of the biggest privacy-focused cryptocurrencies, and it is. And so today we're going to get insights from people who are actually able to a person who demonstrated on practice that he is able to achieve success and knows what should be done in the cryptocurrency space. So Felix, please join.
Thank you for these kind words. Very, very kind words. First, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and we have spoken several times before. We, in fact, even won a prize together almost exactly 1 year ago in Malta. For us, there was the prize of the DAO Building of the Year. For you, it was the Asset Tokenization Prize. So I'm very happy and very proud that, exactly 1 year later, we are here again. So I'm Felix from Dash, and I'm here exactly what was announced to talk about, crypto adoption, to talk about where we are in the space, and what has happened the last years, and how essentially you build a business in the crypto industry to scale and to get users and to get real world adoption, to get usage of your product. So allow me to give a little bit of an intro who I am and what our organization is. It's called Dash, standing for Digital Cash, and we are working on one of the very classic use cases in crypto, which is crypto payments. So what we want to do, we want to be the cash of the world, and we want to be accepted everywhere. And obviously we want that everybody has Dash on their wallet and is able to spend it for things they like. Our claim, be your own bank, says a lot already, especially in the current situation, where everybody is talking about DeFi, decentralized finance, cutting out the middleman, and banks having a hard time of finding new customers. So the way we operate is very much different in terms of the organization, because we are a decentralized organization. I just mentioned, actually, we are a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. What that means in very simple words is that we do not have any corporate hierarchy or a corporate headquarters with the CEO or everything you are used from the normal corporate world. Instead, we consist out of several teams that are scattered across the world, and teams that apply in an open system for funding, and in an open voting. This, the fund allocation is assigned. By this, we have essentially, established a whole network of decentralized teams all around the world in the last years. We are operating since 2014. Most has started with Dash Core Group in the US, and since then, it has spread out across the globe. I said I am the co-founder of some of these organizations within Dash, and specifically the ones you see here on the right, Dash Next, Dash Thailand, and Dash Philippines. So we're doing two things. We are, from the bottom up, building merchant ecosystem and driving user adoption, and from top down, creating partnerships on a rather broader level. And the fact that we are based here in Asia is amazing, because, there's so many different companies. If you look to Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, China, it's an amazing ecosystem. And these businesses definitely do not only operate locally, they operate globally. So for us, it's really about establishing global partnerships with local partners. Exactly what I just said, it's as the crypto space is still a very family-driven event. And I just, in the intro, I already said that we met last year already in Malta. So it's in crypto conferences, it's always a bit of a family happening, and that is amazing. So it's very much about, having relationships and establishing partner networks in this new industry, number one. And it's also about looking out of your own industry and creating partnerships with players, that are interesting and relevant for what you do. Obviously, for us, as Dash, as we are establishing local ecosystems and local merchant network, it's important to have contacts to these merchants, to have local communities that know about Dash, know that they can spend it, and kind of, promote this message. On the other side, it's everything that happens in the background that has to be brought in place before you can even start. And being a payment currency, obviously, this is a lot about exchanges and fiat gateways, because the truth is we are still very young and many people are still skeptic about Bitcoin, or Dash, Bitcoin, any cryptocurrency, have never tried it, and fear the volatility of the assets, fear that they can lose it, and they have no insurance against it. So all these things have to be brought in place. And the way we're doing it is by building partnerships, because also obviously if you are in different markets, you would require different licenses. And as a cryptocurrency, I don't think that's the best way to go around and buy these licenses. It's a rather doable and more business-driven way to create partnerships with people that are in the space and already have all the requirements in place. So obviously these are payment companies, gateways, payment networks, payment rails, all the exchanges in the background, and even financial institutions. In terms of use cases, I'm also very happy to be working for a payment-focused cryptocurrency, because the truth is payment is everywhere. There is essentially no industry that doesn't have payment, obviously, because it always happens in real business life. So of course, if you think about we do crypto payments, the first thing you think about is anything retail. So any shops that accepting it online, offline, which a lot of things is there. I will show you some examples in a second. The travel industry has been, especially before the COVID crisis, it has been very, very interesting for us. I'm here based in Bangkok, one of the probably most visited cities in the whole world. This is why when we started here in Asia, we specifically focused on that travel industry. And also that, it's like we are all very global in the crypto industry, and I think many of us appreciate the fact that we have built these partnerships. New of that is gaming, and gaming is for me especially interesting because what we definitely want is to have young people in our community and to get the next generation always on board. And I feel if we target the gaming industry, we have seen great results. We have a partnership with ReadyRaider. I recommend you to check that out. It's really cool stuff what we're doing there in the esports area. And obviously I'm a bit limited with the time, so I cannot go into all industries, but there's a lot. There's gambling, there's even marijuana in the States, there's CBD here in Asia. I was just speaking at a big conference for CBD in the medical industry here in Southeast Asia. So there is a lot of stuff, and again, there is essentially no limits. Some of our partners, to give you a little bit of something to try out, we have gift cards. You can book hotels and airline tickets. You can recharge your SIM cards or buy more coupons, or you can even have some delicious fast food if you go to Latin America's church chicken. If you want to find out more, go to Discover Dash, enter your city, and you can explore the different options. One thing to mention here as well, we are it's very important for us to not brag about numbers, like is sometimes the style of some blockchain projects. We really want to be real with what we have. So there's two levels of this. One is the direct merchants we have, which is most of that what you see here, and the other ones, and that's what I was talking about, are rather platforms. So we would in fact you can book a travel with Dash in millions of hotels, but this goes not if you book directly with the hotel, but obviously on the travel platform, right? So it's always a question of how you count these things, and from our perspective, it's just better to be a bit humble and having the value in place and having the options in place. So that's just as a side note. I mentioned before, crypto is moving very fast in this industry. It impresses me constantly. I have to say, last year I thought, oh my God, this year was so exhausting. This year has been the same on steroids, I feel. A lot of things have happened, especially in the payment and the finance space. One thing that I think really stands out in the cryptocurrency industry right now is the fact that we have a lot of companies with running products that suddenly came to life in 2020. And by suddenly, I mean, it was friggin' hard work to develop them in the last 3-4 years. But these last 3-4 years gave, you know, all us very impatient people always the impression, oh my God, it's like nothing is happening in crypto. What's up there? And, you know, finally in 2020, all these things come to life, and bit by bit, we can really continue on the vision that many people had in the crypto space, which is building decentralized ecosystems and having everything in place to do that. So especially in my opinion, the financial industry actually is a perfect example or a perfect starting point to do this, because it's so obvious of which players, you know, are kind of intermediate or in the middle of something and don't really contribute to the value creation in the space. So I'm very happy now we are talking about money Legos and how to plug and play different things together to get it work. We as Dash see this as a huge opportunity, and in fact are very happy about everything DeFi, because now from our perspective, you know, it really brings together a lot of things we have been building for the last years. I mentioned, you know, our claim is always has been be your own bank and control your own money. So we have been working very, very hard on our upcoming release that is about to be launched in the very near future, called Dash Platform. And it enables a lot of new things on Dash. So for the first time in history, developers will be able to build stuff on Dash. And when I say stuff, I said it in the most positive way, because I mean, if you release something, you really invite all the developers in, and you want their creativity and ideas to have new solutions, idea, and business models that can be built of it. So some of the features that they can leverage are usernames, a decentralized API, decentralized cloud, or data contracts. And as I mentioned before, we have, you know, a funding system in the background, and we really invite with open arms people who have ideas to build anything. My personal perspective on what this enables, because as we are a cryptocurrency, a payment-focused cryptocurrency, of course, every payment finance related solution is kind of obvious, you know, to build payroll solutions, or I don't know, something with identity in the payment space. But again, I don't even want to give too many ideas. I want that people, you know, get the motivation to do something. And again, I invite everybody to approach me or anyone in Dash to get some guidance and help of how to come into our ecosystem. Another amazing thing we launched that comes together very well with the DeFi and the rest of the blockchain space is what we call a FastPass network that was driven especially by Dash Core. So my props to Omar, who was really working hard on getting this done. It's a network that features one very distinct feature of Dash called Instant Send. And what Instant Send does is enabling to send a Dash transaction without waiting for any block confirmation. This sounds very abstract, but in reality, it means if I pay or if I send someone Dash from my wallet, it will arrive instantly and it can be respent instantly. This is not the case with most other blockchains, because as you are probably well aware of, usually you will have to wait for block confirmations, and it really depends on the use case. For many use cases in payment, waiting is just makes the use case bad, or is really not viable to produce a good use case. If you think about trading, even paying for your coffee, you know, arbitrage trading, sending money from one exchange to another. So I'm very, very happy that we brought in a lot of partners who implemented this feature, and now users essentially can have a long list. These are just some top partners I'm showing here, but the list is much, much longer than that. Please check it out on FastPass Network on our webpage. Users can essentially send Dash in lightning speed between all these services. So I think this is very, very nice. And obviously, you know, the partners you're seeing here are not in core a DeFi DeFi companies, but as I see it, there is a big need, and there will be a big need to bridge the gap between DeFi and non-DeFi. Now, last but not least, let me talk very briefly about what we are planning in the DeFi space, and I'm super excited because I really fell into a new rabbit hole this year called DeFi, and very, very excited about it. So this is why I was pushing very hard to get partners on board here, and to enable Dash to be part of this. And I think the first step to do this is having a wrapped asset, because so far blockchain has been, or all these different blockchain have been rather their own closed ecosystems, which are usually amazing with amazing communities in the back, but it was very hard to bridge these different ecosystems and to find solution that one can interoperate with the other. So in this case, I think it's for us the first step to have a wrapped asset that represents the original in a very sound and safe way, and that enables to be traded on other blockchains, specifically on Ethereum. So by doing that, this will provide Dash users a way to participate in all the yield options and DeFi payments, and it will enable Dash users the option to participate in yield farming, in many of the services around DeFi, and it will enable Ethereum users to have an out and to hopefully leverage our merchant network very soon. Meaning you can save your money, you can do all these crazy DeFi things, but at the end of the day, it's very much fun to spend money for something you like. And this is exactly my vision, to give everybody an exit into the real Dash world with our connections and our setup system in the merchant and different industry space. So the way we do it is also actually very straightforward, but yet very, very complicated, because it's still very, very new, and for us it's really a new challenge to find out how that works. I'm very happy to work with Albert Castellana from Stakeout on this. We just announced this partnership, and I think we're going to have the solution somewhat by end of the year. The way it works is that you have an original Dash, you send it essentially to Stakeout, and in return you will get a staked Dash. So this enables a lot of things. Number one, you have an asset you can use on Ethereum. Number two, as Dash has a staking system with the masternode network and with masternodes in the background, Dash is already since 2014 one of the first coins generating constant yields with this system in the background. So what the stake Dash will do is essentially leveraging it, because if you send it to Stakeout, they're going to stake it as a masternode, and that enables you as a user, with only little investment, to participate in this amazing system and to just gain rewards simply by holding this wrapped asset. But of course, you can do also other things having this wrapped asset. You can participate in staking, you can participate in liquidity pools on Uniswap or whatever. And a lot of new partnerships will be announced soon. Again, I'm working very, very hard because it's brand new. So just some ideas, and I think these are kind of obvious. Automated market making, liquidity pools on Uniswap is something I mentioned already. Very, very obvious use cases in the DeFi world are all these borrowing, staking, lending, saving platforms, and I think we are seeing more and more popping up. And again, lastly, I think this is something that has been a little bit or not enough in the focus yet of DeFi, is everything payment related, because if I'm my own bank, yeah, it's nice to create more money out of money, but it's also nice to spend money. So in order to do this, everything I mentioned in the beginning has to be brought in place. So this is it for me. Thank you again very, very much for the opportunity to speak here. If you want to contact me or talk about how you can be part of Dash platform, reach out to Felix Mago, Mago, Felix_Dash on Twitter, or add me on LinkedIn, Felix Mago. Thank you very much.
Felix, thank you very much for your speech, and thank you for joining us. We've been all excited to find out about your plans and how Dash is going to, and how Dash is going to take out the world. Please, we have another minute or two, and we have questions from the audience. One of the questions is that a lot of our big part of our audience are actually crypto traders and investors who are looking for early stage projects that can become as big as Dash did. How do you, and they're asking, how do you recognize at that early stage that the project has that big potential? What would you answer on that?
Always have a talent to ask the complicated and hard questions. Thank you for this great question. For me, it's like in the real world. The first question is, do you have a business case? Do you kind of have an idea of who is your market? What is your market? What are your customer acquisition costs? What is your growth potential? And what is like kind of the roadmap of getting there and being scalable with the technology you use? I think, especially in this blockchain world, we see always many projects popping up, and sometimes people ask too little of the critical questions, and throw money first and ask questions later. So I would say, from an investor perspective, greed is never a good driver, and common sense is always a very good idea. I think everybody who invests with looking at successful companies versus not successful companies, you kind of always get a good idea. And this is actually always my standard answer. Blockchain is no magic, and as much as we are experts in buzzword bingo, look at the business case and look at the real scenarios we can provide.
Great, thank you for your insightful and realistic answer. I assume it is true that there are no magic pill to find a good investment. So thank you again a lot for joining us. Thank you for your fantastic speech. I hope you live until the rest of the event as well and enjoy other speeches and panels. We have a great array of speakers as well, and the workshop where we'll be doing a demo for dashboard. So if you have time, would be glad if you could join us.
Boris, and let's talk soon. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for participating.